Today, we're looking at Conspit's brand new steering wheel, the 310 Apex. And yes, this is a very special steering wheel. It is one of them wheels, again, that you're getting more than what you bargained for, especially considering the price. €299 or $349 gets you this wheel with a 2.99-inch screen. Let's just call it 3. Always round up. You never say it is 2.5 inches long, you say it's 3 inches long, don't you? Anyway, this whole wheel here is constructed with aluminium, no plastic parts here. Quick rundown of the wheel. As you can see, you got the screen, you get 2 funky switches here in the front, you get 8 buttons, all of them backlit, 2 rotary encoders here in the front, you get clutch pedals on the back, very nice magnetic paddle shifters on the back, and these can be either super soft or you can have them really clicky. The options are there for you. So yeah, I do think Conspit actually has made a banging wheel here. From the moment you actually take it out of the box, yeah, you feel like you've got something a little bit special, 100%. In the box itself, there's enough FOMO packaging in there to, you know, make Greta Thunberg explode. Oh yeah, you didn't think Greta was going to explode like that, did you? But yeah, I have to say that is an artificial photo. But hey, Greta. I know what you like. I recycle. Every Monday, I do. Anyway, before we continue, the necessary disclaimer. Conspit did send this wheel to me to make a review for you, and some of the links down below might be affiliated, and I will point out which those are. Yeah, let's get watching. Let's talk about the look of the wheel. Now, looks are very subjective. What I think is sha-na-na-na-na-na, you know, and absolutely wonderful. You might not like, because, you know, looks, like I said, it's subjective. You know, what you like, I don't like, vice versa. It's a way of the world, you know. Not everybody likes a yellow Ferrari. Some like it in red, some like it in grey. I, on the other hand, would take it in any color it comes. This, on the other hand, does come with purple accents, and yeah, personally, I probably would have preferred a different color. However, Conspit is team purple, like, you know, how Simucube is orange. They all kind of have their, you know, their color scheme that they go for, and yeah, Conspit is purple. So that is one of the things, you know, when you're buying this wheel, you can see here the stitching on the inside. This top bit over here is purple, and then also the purple knobs over here. It would have been nice if they maybe included an extra set of these little knobs that you can just change into maybe silver or black. It would have been nice. Possibly later you'd be able to purchase those. I mean, these 2 knobs here luckily are black, and yeah, the overall look of the wheel, I don't think Conspit reinvented the wheel, you know. They kept it pretty much plain, like just black with the purple accents, and I think fantastic. You know, it's not this wild wheel, it's just this very nice brushed aluminium. It's like a matte aluminium, rather. And yeah, you can see here, it doesn't leave any finger marks, which is very nice. You know, I like that. It's not that shiny aluminium. I think the wheel presents very well. I love how they've got these button shrouds around the buttons. One of the things I didn't like as much on their previous, you know, the 300 GT, they did not have these button shrouds. And yeah, you can just see the buttons protrude an awful lot in that wheel. They just kind of stick out of the wheel. So these shrouds here just, I think, makes a wheel, just tidies it up, you know, those small touches. You've got these silver knobs here at the top. Obviously, you've got the screen in here. We'll talk about the screen later. But yeah, overall, looks-wise, yeah, I think it's wonderful. I think it looks fantastic. Definitely a good-looking round wheel, 100%. Build quality, I have to say, is fantastic. One of the things I've noticed about the Apex range in general, because Apex is now a range that Conspit is selling. It includes a 300 GT. It is this wheel over here. You're then going to have pedals that is coming next week. In 5 days, you'll see my review of their pedals. And then also there'll be a wheelbase as well. That'll be, I believe, an 8 Newton meter wheelbase. Anyway, what I gather from the build quality of these things and the feature sets that you get in the Apex range is you're definitely getting more than what you are expecting. 100%. The build quality, all those, you can just see is you're getting, I'm surprised you get what you get for the type of money you are paying. This here is a 300 euro wheel, and it is completely aluminium. I mean, just to give you some comparisons here, this is the Neo X hub by SimMagic, and yeah, it is a fantastic hub. I love it. But you can see here, for example, these knobs here are all plastic. You've got a plastic composite wheel. These little knobs here, your funky switches, it's all made out of plastic, right? Whereas everything on this wheel here is aluminium. These encoders over here, these rotaries over here, everything is made out of aluminium. This whole section, the back, everything, you know, it just feels a lot more premium. Even with the shifters on the back, you get these carbon little, you know, handles. Let me show you. Got the carbon here on the back, you get your clutch pedals, everything just presents very, very well, and it definitely feels premium. It feels premium to this wheel over here. So I think for the price, yeah, you're definitely getting more than what is expected, which is always a win for you.
Keep right into 4 left of a crest. 30 of the bumps.
One of the big selling points when it comes to this steering wheel is that it's actually a button plate. Look at this. You can remove your steering wheel just like so by undoing the 6 bolts on the back of a wheel, and then in future you'll be able to fit in other steering wheels, you know, an open D-shaped wheel, GT style wheel, what have you. Now, Conspit has taken some inspiration from assetto, however they've improved on the assetto design. With assetto, you have to undo these shifters on the back first to get to the bolts to actually take off the rim. And by the time you do that, it is really, yeah, it's just annoying. It's a hassle. Whereas with the Conspit wheel, removing the 6 bolts in the back honestly takes 2 minutes. And in a momento or two, you have a brand new wheel as something else. However, this comes with disadvantages and advantages. Let's talk about the advantages first. The fact that you're buying a rim like this that does not have this centerpiece, like with a traditional steering wheel, is that the whole face is available, and you can see obviously there's a lot more inputs you can fit onto the wheel, and it's just probably a bit more comfortable to get to those inputs. Whereas on something like this, on this GT X hub, let me take this off here, this Neo X hub for example, this, one of the biggest selling points of this is the fact that you can use any third-party steering wheel that has a standard, you know, 6x70mm bolt pattern. And you can put on semi-dish, full dish, big rims, skinny rims, suede rims, Momo rims, sparkle rims, whatever you want you can fit on here, which is a very big benefit. However, on this here, you can see the buttons are all in the corners, and yeah, it's not uncomfortable to get to them buttons. It's one of my favorite button boxes, the Neo X hub. On this, however, you are limited to buying rims only from Conspit. You won't be able to buy rims from any other company. And yeah, at this very moment, it is a bit of a negative, because the only rim that is available as of today is this round rim. You can't even buy the GT rim or the open D rim that they've teased. And there's no talks of having suede rims. You might prefer, like me, I prefer a suede rim to a leather rim. That's just, you know, I just prefer it. But at this moment, that's not an option that I can go and say, oh, let me just go and buy a suede rim, which is a bit wop, wop, wop. Of course, in future, I know for a fact there will be more rims. And yeah, you can just see the benefits of having the rims. It is so quick to change, and you've got a completely different steering wheel. And just talking about the rim itself, for me, this would have been a very big no-no, this function of being able to change the rims like this, if the rims were bad quality. However, I have to say, these rims here this rim here is really, really solid. The stitching is some of the best I've seen, and yeah, you can just, by touching this, I can definitely tell it's nicer than most of my rims I have anyway. So that is a very good benefit, and I'm sure that all the future rims that will be coming, you know, to the Conspit ecosystem will also be high quality rims, which is very, very nice, of course. Let's very briefly discuss the screen. It is 2.99 inches, like I said, and yeah, you get a few displays on here, which is very, very nice. At this very moment, I'm running a replay here on the computer, and that is what you're just seeing. The screen is exactly the same as what is in this wheel over here, the 300 GT. Now, personally, I found that the screen was much more useful for me on the GT style wheel than what it was on a round wheel, to be honest. If this screen was not there, honestly, it would not have impacted my review on this wheel. In fact, I would go as far as to say that screen, for me on a round wheel anyway, might as well not be there. Whether I'm doing rally games, or I'm trying to drift in, assetto corsa, or I'm driving the Mazdas or the GT86s, whatever I'm using myself, just in my experience, a round wheel for, I don't actually need a screen. The one screen that I did use quite often is the Delta screen. Quite often when I'm hot lapping and I'm practicing, that is very nice. I'm just glancing down and I can see, oh, I'm in the green, I'm doing well, I'm improving on my lap. Or, oh, it's a red bar, I need to, drive a bit quicker or better. So that is a nice screen that I do find myself, that's my default screen when I am using this wheel. But yeah, honestly, for me, the screen, it would have been so much nicer, like so much nicer, if I could have implemented some of the features that what a race logic display would give you. You change your ABS, and big on the screen, ABS pops up and it shows you you're on 6 ABS. Or same with a traction control, and same with your brake bias. You change it, and just immediately on that little screen, you would have an indication that you are changing your brake bias. At this moment, this screen over here, for example, would show you your ABS, your traction control. I'm driving, yep, it's a Porsche, it's a replay of a Porsche. There's no traction control and ABS in this car, but if there were, they would have shown you there. Now, yes, as you can see, the screen is already small as it is. Now, personally, when I'm driving, I actually can see the text and I can see everything clearly. Even the smaller text, I can read El Perfecto. However, it is a smaller screen, so having something pop up nice and big on this whole screen would have just been... But yeah, as for the screen, it's a nice little bonus. It's definitely, I wouldn't say go and buy this wheel above another wheel just because it has a screen.
Keep right into 4 left of a crest. 30 of the bumps.
As the name suggests, the 310 Apex is a 310mm diameter wheel. Now yeah, this is probably on, I would say, just a tad on the small side for a round wheel. Most of the time round wheels come in about 330mm or 350mm even for like drifting or rallying. However, not once while I've used it did I think, oh, I need a bigger wheel. So yeah, maybe the size is El Perfecto. You get these 2 nice rotaries here at the bottom, and these are very, very nice. They're nice and stiff. The actual knob itself, the edges are nice and deep, so they're very nice and grippy. And yeah, the resistance, I would say, is El Perfecto. Fantastic. And this is a nice little feature that I really love. You can see here on this knob over here, as I'm turning, let's say I want to take my ABS to 7, and I put it to 7. You can see all these light up to tell me, okay, I'm at 7. Or if I prefer, I can have, let's say, this where it's just a little one indicator. Let's say I put my traction control all the way up to 10. I'm really struggling for grip, maybe even 11. You can see then just as whichever setting you are on, that little white light corresponds. Obviously I picked mine red and white, but you can make these any colors you want. And yeah, it is a very, very nice touch. And one thing that is not often talked about on wheels, but I think is, it just adds to it, is the separation of the LEDs. Look here, the difference between, if I were to go here, see the difference between 6 and 7. There's not, the lights don't bleed into one another. The white and the red light next to one another don't fade in and make an orange in the middle. The separation of the LEDs are done so well that you can see clear as day, the difference in colors. And yeah, I have wheels that cost an absolute fortune, a lot more than this, and they don't do that well. You can just see how the lights all bleed into one another. And it's something you notice. You don't always notice it when you have a wheel. But then when you get a wheel like this and you notice the separation of the LEDs, and you think, oh, you know, this is actually quite nice. So it's a small thing, but I think it's like it just shows the attention to detail. It shows that they, you know, there's obviously, that didn't just happen by chance. Obviously the thought process was there. They really want to separate these LEDs, and that's the same for this rev bar over here. Very, very nice attention to detail. You have your funky switches. They feel very, very nice. You know, you can work them in whichever way you want. I've got this one set up to change my screens. You've got the 8 buttons here. Now these 2 buttons here are kind of you know, not kinda, they are a good reach away, but yeah, I put my things that I don't use that often, you know, my wipers and my reset button. No, I actually use this button a lot. So yeah, but no, buttons 100%, all of them a nice click needed to push them. You're not going to push any of them by mistake. I love these little button shrouds that they've got around them. I think just honestly, wheel presents absolutely fantastic. Yeah, at the top you've got these 2 knobs here. Now this is their encoder remap system, I believe they call it, and you've seen this on the 300 GT wheel as well. With all these buttons and the clutches and the pedals on the back, you've got 104 different inputs on this wheel. And for a round steering wheel, I mean, normally when you are rallying or you are drifting, or most applications or cars that you require a round wheel, you are not going to need more than 104 inputs. I think 50 in most of those cases is more than enough. But yeah, you can map your whole computer system, and you know, the kitchen downstairs, everything can be programmed with this wheel. It is fantastic. On the back you've got your dual clutches. Oh, these clutches are a little bit light. I personally would have wanted them a bit stiffer, but you know, the fact that you get clutch pedals at this price point, already a win, you know, so we're not complaining much. The shifters feel really nice. It's a nice satisfying click, and listen how soft these are. They are properly dampened. Now I do like that, but you might not. A lot of people prefer a really clicky, you know, like a clicky thing, and you can take out, there's just these little rubbers that Conspit says you can take out, and then you're going to have a really clicky wheel. I will probably do that for this side so I can show you. There you go. I took a little plastic tweezer, and yeah, they are actually stuck in there. I think it'd be quite a job to actually put them back now, but you see these 2 little rubber stops, and now you'll listen the difference. A really nice clicky shift. You know what, I like it. I might, yeah, I do. And then this side, who do? I prefer clicky shifters. There you go. So yeah, no, the wheel itself with 104 inputs, you are covered. Connecting to the PC, obviously very simple. With a USB cable, you get this lovely coiled USB cable, and it is rock solid connection. You can see even if I'm pulling it, it does not come out. But that's because there's this latch, you kind of pull it. Now unfortunately you can't see it on this wheel here because of my big quick release on the back. However, I will show you how it works on the 300 GT, and it's exactly the same connection. I personally prefer the magnetic ones that you get with Cube controls and now SimMagic, but this is definitely my second favorite implementation if you want to use a wire. If you do have a Conspit base, you can use this. You can just remove this whole triangle on the back, put this into your wheel, simsalabim, it will work. My conclusion, what do I think about the 310 Apex? Listen here, to summarize, absolutely fantastic. Wow, wow, wee wow. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo, phenomenal. It really, really is. When you take this out of a box, you're going to start using it, and you're going to know exactly what I mean. You are getting so much for your money. The build quality, the functionality, it is just, even the rim itself, the quality is just, it exceeds expectations. It 100% does. I love the fact that this whole thing is made out of aluminum. There's no plastic parts here. Everything feels good. The screen, listen here, I'll be honest with you. I could take it or leave it in a round wheel. For me, the screen is not I would not say this is a selling point or a deciding factor for you to get the wheel. If this screen was not here, to be honest, even at the same price point, my opinions would have been exactly the same about the wheel. But yeah, it's a nice bonus. I actually like the little screen, this one here, the Delta, while I'm practicing, and I do find myself glancing down at it quite often just to see, you know, whether I'm in the green or the red during a lap. It is a nice little feature. The red lights here, clear as day, lovely jubbly. The LEDs, the one thing is they're not the brightest LEDs that I've had on wheels, but I have a lot of lights shining directly on myself at this moment, so it does appear a bit more dull on the video. But yeah, these here, I think the LEDs, perfect if you're just going to drive here in your dark room. It's not going to be too bright, but I'd say most people would probably run these LEDs at 100% at all times. Other than that, honestly, encoders, the pedals on the back, the fact that you get an extra magnets to make the pedals shifters here stiffer if you want them. You can have them soft, you can have them clicky. It really is a very well designed wheel. The layout, everything is absolutely fantastic. I'm finding it really hard to find something negative to say about this wheel. The only thing that I would change, honestly, the only thing what I would change the purple to red. That would have been my only option if I could change something on this wheel. Yes, it's not the most out futuristic looking wheel, but I like that. This is a good looking wheel. Everything that you need is right here, and yeah, the fact that you'll be able to change rims in the future, just the cherry on top. So yeah, well done, Conspit. I think you guys made another absolute stunning product, especially if you consider the price. I mean, you're gonna be, you tell me in the comments. Listen, I don't mind being wrong, honestly I don't. But you tell me where else are you going to get this type of build quality, the functionality that wheels offer for the same amount of money. I don't think there's another round wheel on the market that offers all this at this price point and this build quality. It really is a sublime wheel. 100% I can recommend to you. Now, I do have a favor to ask of you. I'm really want to try and get to 10,000 subscribers. You could help me make that happen. If this review has been at all helpful, please consider subscribing. Give this video a like. Those are free ways that you can help me. It's much appreciated, matey. See you again in the next video. See ya.